I will be starting with Category 1. My primary focus will be the applications design and engineering. The section of code that will be my main focus for these improvements is going to be the Scene Manager. As I previously stated, the Scene Manager's function is to set up the scene by creating objects, light sources, defining materials, setting up textures, and establishing shaders. One area that needs improvement for the Scene Manager is going to be loading textures. Yes, the load scene textures. The main reason this method needs improvements is because the textures don't truly load in with the rest of the application at launch. While the files are there, they do not load into the scene. This is something that needs to be improved upon and fixed, especially since the scene needs to be more realistic and include more detail. In addition to this, I also plan on making smaller improvements throughout the code. These improvements all should improve the code's efficiency and functionality. I also plan on improving the defined objects materials, since the listed materials don't quite match exactly the scene itself. In addition to this, I can make the objects material more realistic, especially the marble and plastic, since I truly don't need marble, I need ceramic for my coffee cup. My plan for the enhancements for Category 1 are to create a more detailed and intricate objects. These objects will be the table, the background of the wall, the coffee cup, the monitor, the keyboard, and finally, the mouse. I plan to do this by using high resolution textures, I also plan on implementing more realistic lighting to make the environment more immersive. Currently I included 4 light sources, and while I do have quite a few light sources in the original environment that I based it off of, there should primarily be 2 main light sources, or sources of light in general, for it to draw upon. In addition to this, I need to make the light source colors more closely match the sources of light I'm basing it on, as well as the strength and intensity of these light sources. In addition to this, I will also be adding basic animations. These animations will be for either the monitor, such as turning it on or off, or having it opening or loading screen, and the mouse. The animation design for this will be moving it slightly one way or another, as if someone is using the mouse for the scene. By including basic animations, this will make the scene be more interactive and better demonstrate my technical skills. These enhancements should demonstrate my creativity, my proficiency in industry standard tools and techniques, and 3D graphics and visualization. The main goal for this category is to make the scene more intricate and realistic and build upon my previous developed code. The next category I will be focusing on is Category 2. For this category, I plan on optimizing the existing program by introducing more efficient algorithms and by improving the data structures for a better performance and scalability. My main focus for these improvements will be in the Scene Manager as well as the View Manager. As I stated previously, there are methods in the Scene Manager that need to be debugged and improved upon, such as the textures, the objects, and the lighting. For optimization, there are currently too many small calls for a scene, and this will need to be improved upon as well. Especially since it has to call upon each individual shape for each object. My main goal to fix this is to potentially create a database, which will be my primary focus for Category 3, and creating already established objects, such as the coffee cup, keyboard, monitor, or mouse. I also plan on keeping defined objects, materials, lighting, shaders, and textures in the same categories and the same methods. This will improve performance as well as functionality. My target areas for Category 2 for my improvements will be efficiency, functionality, and logic. The enhancements I plan on adding are to use specialized shaders and improve the shaders optimization. I will also be trying to render the scene with fewer large calls, which should improve the performances and scalability, as well as minimizing state changes by grouping objects together that share the same shader, textures, and states. This aligns the course outcomes of applying algorithms that are effective in optimizing software through data structures, which will develop a software system that is user-friendly, with my primary focus being on improving the performance and scalability while still maintaining software quality. For Category 3 databases, I plan on implementing Performer databases and buffers. I will be primarily focused on improving the Scene Manager and the View Manager for this category. The code contains databases for established shapes that are used to create the new objects for the scene. These shapes are plane, box, sphere, torus, cylinder, tapered cylinder, and half sphere. My goal is to hopefully create another set of basic meshes. These meshes should be the objects I will be using for the scene, such as the keyboard, mouse, monitor, and coffee cup. I will do my best to combine established shapes for specific parts of the object, which should reduce any performance issues, and will create a new database for the shapes. And as I stated previously, there are a few other code improvements I could be making to both the View Manager and Scene Manager that I have already discussed. The View Manager and Scene Manager are pieces of code that primarily focus on establishing, creating, and loading in objects, textures, materials, lighting, and shaders. As stated before, there are parts that needed debugging improvements, while my target areas for Category 3 databases for my improvements are going to be structure, logic, and efficiency. My plan for my enhancements are to add performer databases, such as databases for my pre-established objects, as well as buffers to organize and manage the graphical components of the application. This should also improve areas of the database's optimization, as well as the system's scalability overall. The outcome for Category 3 should support my ability to design effective solutions that use well-established computing practices as well as innovative techniques while ensuring the system's performance, scalability, and real-world applications. My CS 499 capstone for categories 1, 2, and 3 will be done using my CS 330 OpenGL final project. These improvements, changes, and new techniques should better show my growth, understanding, and knowledge in my computer science degree, and be a great testament of my newfound skills for my degree as well. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate you listening and watching. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.